Hi guys. This video is part 4 of the 5-axis CNC machine project in a small room. Have you ever wanted to make something with large metal parts when enjoying DIY? There are excellent alternatives to metal parts. They are carbon fiber and epoxy granite. They can also be used for hobbies, because they are shaped using a mold. This time I am testing carbon fiber and epoxy granite. In conclusion, I like the material carbon very much. It is a wonderful material. I have come to this conclusion based on the results of my experiments. Here is what I made on a trial basis. It looks good, doesn't it? The purpose of this test is to make a desktop 5-axis CNC machine frame out of carbon fiber epoxy granite without failure. Since this video is part of a video series on creating a new 5-axis CNC machine, the ultimate goal is to complete a cool machine. I think I am the only person who tries to build a machine base out of carbon fiber and epoxy granite. The first time I do something, I often fail. That is inevitable. But when I make a part that I absolutely do not want to fail, I should test it and be confident that it will be successful before I start. I will explain why I am making a machine base out of carbon fiber epoxy granite. I think it is very effective to produce a base for a desktop CNC machine at home with carbon fiber and epoxy granite. 1. Carbon weighs only 1/5 of steel and 1/2 of aluminum. Its tensile strength is very high, more than twice that of steel and aluminum. Light and strong materials are attractive for small desktop machines that are carried around. 2. Carbon fiber is a material that can be easily obtained by individuals. There is no difficulty in obtaining the material. 3. Carbon is suitable for DIY hobbyists because it can be molded into any desired shape without sufficient equipment. 4. Epoxy granite is an excellent substitute for cast machine bases. However, its tensile strength is low because of its dependence on epoxy. Carbon fiber compensates for this weakness. 5. Last but not least, it really looks good. It looks cool. There are many opinions on whether reinforcing epoxy granite with carbon fiber will improve performance. I believe I won't know until the machine is finally finished and I do some test cuts. But I hope that my trying something new will at least inspire you. These are the reasons why I am making a machine base out of carbon fiber epoxy granite. The work on that 5-axis CNC machine is on its way. If you are interested, please watch the past videos. And I recommend you to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any future videos. We have a few ideas on how to make carbon fiber epoxy granite, but we will do some testing before we decide how to make it. I designed the base of the 5-axis CNC machine that I am currently building to be made of epoxy granite. However, just building an epoxy granite frame is boring, so I decided to reinforce the surface with carbon fiber to further improve performance. There is a lot of information on the net for making parts out of carbon fiber. There is also information on how to make epoxy granite. However, there is no information for reinforcing epoxy granite with carbon fiber. And since I have very limited equipment available, I have to figure out how to do it myself. And I don't want to fail. That means I need to actually test the method I come up with and find a way to make it work. The first part I will make with carbon fiber epoxy granite will be this part. If I fail this part, it will hurt my delicate heart. And it will look like this. I want to find the best way to make the best carbon fiber epoxy granite I can. This time, I prepared 2 kinds of materials. Carbon cloth 30 centimeters wide and 2 meters long, and 6 millimeters chopped carbon chips. I will use epoxy to make these seamless carbon. This is the carbon chips. This amount is 0.1 kilograms. It is as light as a bird's feather. It looks like a stiff needle, but each fiber is finer than a hair. First, let's do a test with just carbon fiber and epoxy. I will reinforce this Red Bull can with carbon fiber. This can will actually be used as a part for the new 5-axis CNC machine. Later in the video you will see where this part will be used. Maybe some of you already know. Anyway, if I actually try it, I am sure that I will be able to understand many things sensitively. I may discover something new. When I think of carbon fiber, I think most people think of this cross pattern. It looks cool. The method I thought of is to make a base with chopped carbon fiber first. After that, the carbon fabric is applied. If I just use carbon cloth, there is a possibility that Red Bull can be seen through the gap. That would not look good. I was also concerned about the strength of the carbon cloth alone. Let's begin. The first thing I felt was that carbon fiber soaks up epoxy very well. It is like regular cloth. Layers and layers of carbon chips are applied until the surface of the can is no longer visible. It looks like this. Not so beautiful. Let's apply the carbon cloth. I had an image that carbon fiber is hard, but the cloth is very soft. If I cut it with scissors, it will come apart immediately. It can be applied to curved parts more than expected. When half cured, it is highly adhesive and sticks like a sticker. Fully cured. Not very beautiful. One side is just carbon chips. On the other side, I put carbon cloth. Let's try to scrape it off with a file. Surprisingly, it can be filed well. If I harden the carbon chip with epoxy, it does not become a beautiful surface, but it is very good that I can file it down and make it flat. The carbon cloth is not bad, but not wonderful. Something is wrong. My arm itches. Something tingles. Something is wrong. Let's check it out. I decided to check it out using ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a brilliant AI chatbot that the world is watching and will answer questions about anything. I think ChatGPT probably stood for Chat of Drunk People Tizzy. A drunk at the bar told me about it yesterday. So let me ask ChatGPT a question. My body is itchy, what's the cause?
Because you have not taken a shower and washed your body.
Huh? I'm washing.
You got bitten by a mosquito when you were drunk and sleeping on the road, didn't you?
I didn't sleep on the road.
Then I don't know. Take a shit, and go to bed. Bye bye.
What the hell is this? That guy was rude. He was no help at all. I knew I should have used Google to search. Carbon processing, itchy.
When carbon fibers and dust come in contact with the skin, it itches and tingles. Never, ever rub it. One carbon fiber is like a thin wire.
I rubbed it a great deal. It's too late. Say that more first.
If it gets itchy, use soap and water to wash it off well.
Oh, I didn't know that. I have to be careful. Google is great. I found the answer as expected. It seems that when using carbon fiber, it is necessary to wear a mask and take dust control measures. Also, the epoxy-soaked fibers are very sharp and sting the skin. It hurts. Next I will make a 4 cm square of carbon fiber epoxy granite. I make a mold, put carbon cloth and carbon chips inside it, and pour the epoxy granite inside. This is intended to make the frame for the 5-axis CNC machine I am currently building. I saw on other YouTube that I was using a roller, so I made a roller and used it. I felt like it squeezed out the excess epoxy and I thought it was effective for making good quality epoxy. Remove the mold. Flatten the surface with sandpaper placed on a surface plate. There are a few bubbles left on the surface. The carbon cloth surface is not bad. The carbon tip surface is not bad either. When I used a file, I filed too much and came up with epoxy granite. This is a failure. That's all for this test. I will tell you what I found out from the test results. 1. It is difficult to put up carbon cloth neatly. It would be impossible to finish all surfaces cleanly without failure. To avoid failure, I will not use carbon cloth on the finished surface. 2. If I cover all the surfaces of the frame with carbon chips and file the surfaces beautifully, I don't think there will be any failures. However, I have found that filing and polishing all surfaces is a very hard task. 3. I have one question. When I searched the web for carbon fiber, I found that the material is too hard and difficult to work with, but I could easily file it. This may mean that good quality carbon is not being produced. 4. Carbon dust control is necessary. This is what I found out so far in this test. A new idea came to mind as a countermeasure to the problems found in this experiment. It is to use carbon plates. This is because I believe that factory-produced carbon plates are less likely to fail because of their good appearance and strength. Since the frame of the machine is made entirely of flat surfaces, it can be fabricated with plates. However, there is a problem. That is, there will be seams. If there are seams, tensile strength cannot be expected. As a countermeasure, the joints are reinforced with carbon chips and carbon cloth to unify them. I think this is perfect. I have already ordered 1.5 mm carbon plates. I will do the carbon fiber epoxy granite test again. Then I will build the actual 5-axis CNC machine frame. If you are interested in this project, I suggest you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any videos. Oops, I shouldn't have. I didn't say where I was going to use this. This is the coolant tank. I used a Red Bull can because it was the right size. If you empathize with my project, why don't you become a member and support this channel? There are few benefits, but as long as you are a member, your name will appear at the end of the videos as a patron. In other words, you can be a part of this project. So, please look forward to the next video.